There's lots of dies and downs. Yeah. Anyway, so
actually, their performances are just exactly right, aren't they? They're sort of a mixture of surprise.
Yeah.
Mostly surprise.
Terror.
Yeah, terror.
Horror. And they're Chris's actual glasses on the floor there. But two of them were a set design, and one of them was outside the...
I'm tempted to ask, were you going to write the end line in French?
La fête de Lynx.
La fête de Lynx.
Said in that we probably talked about
accent of yours.
Yeah, that Macclesfield. We probably talked about it at the time, but obviously it ended up being...
And how did you find working with Malcolm? He's a very good friend of mine.
He was brilliant.
Yeah,
he was brilliant. And I think he was just starting to become a director at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And
he'd done all of Nike and he'd done so much stuff, hadn't he?
So we were really lucky. I don't know whether Rosie pulled a few strings and kind of made it happen, or the producer, print producer kind of made it happen. But we were chuffed to bits to get Malcolm involved.
I've got to ask this question, sorry. Did you think about following up the next year with a Spanish campaign and then an Italian one? Because that surely could have run and run.
It could have run and run. We didn't think about it at the time, I don't think. Or maybe we did and I've just forgotten, but we obviously didn't.
Yeah, there's probably, I suppose Lynx effect, there was so much to go at, and which is a nice seg into your next campaign. So that was your first poster ever.
That was our first Billboard.
It's annoyingly brilliant, isn't it? Because you think, hope it's something slightly shit, and we can...
Yeah. You know. Well, the colour at BBH at that time, you know what it was like. It was you and Ad and...
Just mostly me and Ad.
Yeah, just mainly you two.
Well, I remember going in there actually on our first day when Pepe walked us around, and it was one of the most scary experiences. We sort of met John Gorse, Nick Worthington, Bruce Crouch Graham, Watson, Tim Riley, Tom Hudson. I mean, it's just going, fucking hell, what have we done? Just absolute legend. And you sit there really quietly and you think, oh, hold on, I'm here for a reason. And then you start sort of doing it. But it was, it's quite something, isn't it?
Without reminiscing too much, it was good times. It was a good calibre of people.
So once you got that through, and I'm sort of saying this, I should sort of either remember, or I can't remember if I was there or not, but once you've done a good gig on a brief, I remember BBH would either go, right, we're going to put you on some shit little radio ad or some German trade press thing. Or they go, you did a good job, we're going to give you the next. So did they give you the next Lynx gig, the 24 hours? Or did you go, hey, hold on, that's our turn? How did it work? Can you remember?
I've got a feeling that this was much later.
Right.
It might have been, I can't remember the dates of them.
Yeah, no, I can't either.
I think the first one might have been around 2001, maybe, 2000. Mm-hmm. And then this one, I can't remember the dates, maybe 2003?
So let's
maybe a year later.
So this is the 24-hour Lynx. So basically, could you just briefly describe it again? Sorry.
Shall I? Okay.
Yes.
So
you can make that sound.
Interestingly, so the segue here would be, everybody liked the previous campaigin, but I think in research they were like, yeah, but we just want to see some girls.
Okay. That's so pathetic.
Honestly, it was... it was just...
he nearly had a straight face when he said it as well. This is really close.
So, it's not me, it's the research.
So we were, okay, let's see what we can do. It feels a bit weird talking about this.
I know, because it's like, you look at it, you go, that's so out.
It did come up when we talked to Rosie, actually.
Yeah.
You
never make these ads.
Would you make them now? No.
We talked to Anna and Mike about 1830. So many things you're going, oh my God, did we really make ads like that? Anyway, so yes.
Anyway, so these ads were, I think the brief was Lynx would now last 24 hours. So it had a USP to it.
Yeah.
So you beat around a few ideas, and then we came up with, you can travel anywhere in the world within 24 hours, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So therefore, every female on the planet could be potentially attracted to a man that's wearing Lynx. Again, with an asterisk, never buy this thing.
Yeah, this would never happen. Yeah, it is quite staggering, but they're of their time, as people say. And no, I think that they're beautiful. I've got a feeling you didn't go to Australia, Thailand, and Brazil.
No. So, interestingly,
shot an actor.
We did shoot them all in Cape Town. Again, the drawings, the drawings were almost identical from Matt's layouts to how they came out, which is, and again, I hope he's kept them.
Yeah.
But
Matt, if you're listening, can you send them in?
Yeah. So we shot them all in Cape Town, and as I mentioned, I was the art director, and the tickets to Cape Town came in my name. And because I'd done some other shoot, I was like, no, Matt, let you go and do the Lynx shoot in
Right.
sell everything. To which, I think he was quite chuffed. They did send me videos back from the shoot.
So you flipped it?
Yeah.
They just called me back. I was in Brazil with Scalzi one time, and I was saying, yeah, but I rate it as just as much as Scalzi. And Russell went, no, you're coming back. And I literally had
Russell impression.
Yeah. Sorry, Russell. But I had to leg it across the world. It took me about 24 bloody hours to get it. That's another story.
Yeah.
Still smelling good though.
Thanks, buddy.
That year's supply of Lynx that you got.
It doesn't walk off.
I finally got married. After BBH. So I remember... Yeah. So did you and Matt... So again, it's a bit foggy, but... Mm-hmm. I remember, actually, one of my very quick favourites was the car that was a green P. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I bloody love that. What was that for?
That was for Bird's Eye P car.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just...
That was silly.
Yeah,
so
anyway.
all these were rosy, actually. Every single one of these campaigns we did with her.
But you were
brilliant with it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was good when you get a little relationship like that.
Yeah,
but then did you and Matt, did you go to Grey together?
We did, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So you were ECDs there?
No, we were CDs there.
Right, okay.
We'd been CDing BBH for a bit, and then we decided, where else can we go? And there's obviously some amazing agencies out there, but we had a little chat to O'Keefe, and he was like, why don't you go and have a chat to the guys at Grey? We're like, really? Okay, fine.
I know, because it was...
It
was... I remember when Sommy and Chappie and Dougie and everyone went there, and there was Gary Lace and all of that.
Yep.
And then I always remember actually there was this free bar.
Yeah.
Do you remember they said, right, every Thursday anyone can come, and we just used to pile in there and take all their money. But it was the beginning of the change in Grey. Without blowing smoke up your what's it too much, it was a brilliant time when you were there. I was thinking, that time it just becomes irrefutable how good it is. There was Nils, there was you, Vicky. The work was fantastic, and everyone had to just go, okay, enough. It must have been an amazing time to be there.
It was great. It was good, and there was just a good eye for hiring talent. So Danny Basil, I could never pronounce her name.
Yeah,
she was kind of really good around finding junior talent and hiring people in. And she built, between Vix, me, Nils, and her, built a really good creative department. And there was just a very good open culture, and, kind of everyone was pointing in the right direction. I guess it's all worked without banging on about too much.
Was it different to BBH when you
utterly different?
Right.
The complete opposite. So BBH was just a gloriously functioning creative machine. The output was fantastic year after year after year after year, and it was brilliant to be part of. The family and the network was great. And Grey was it was completely the opposite. So I think a guy called David Patton, who was an ex-Sony client, had gone into Grey and said, I want to change the relationship between client and agency and build something completely different. So he kind of knocked down all the offices and, shuffled up the agency, and then put some good people in place. And it sort of started to work. I mean, it was kind of massively shambolic compared to BBH when we got there.
Everywhere was, wasn't it?
Yeah, true.
Do you think everyone was trying to recreate that BBH model from that point?
I don't know. I've no idea. I know that Grey certainly wasn't. It was anything completely different is what we were doing.
The thing I remembered, so I'm trying to look at something on the internet while I'm doing this, was BBH's structure, project management, was second to none. You couldn't move for knowing. It was amazing, actually. Pep would walk around and you knew what there was no excuse like you didn't know. There'd be a list, stuff above the line.
It was
live.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So then I went to Saatchi's. Kept going, where's that? This, that, and the other. There's a bloke called Dave, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. It'll come back to me. But it was just one bloke. Dawkins, Dave Dawkins.
Right.
And it was like one guy had the whole of the agency's stuff in his head.
All briefs,
everything. So in a way it was like, it'd be gone from,
Did they wrap him in bubble wrap and not let him cross the road and stuff?
But then after that...
When he's off sick, the agency's off.
Yeah. And then after that, everywhere I worked, they always went, oh yeah, we got this guy from BBH, a project manager. And you'd go, all right. So I don't know whether it was BBH set the model, but suddenly after that, whenever you went in somewhere, and you go, oh, we got James Smith or we got whoever.
Yeah, Peter Wardle.
Exactly, yeah. And there was Stuart Hayburn. He was BBH anyway, and he's like suddenly go, okay, got somebody who's going to organise my life a bit.
And I tell you what, it's
sorry, I'm just.
We did have a fantastic head of I guess creative services, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And he produced a lot of the Times work, actually. Really, a guy called Sean Musgrove.
Oh, Muzzers, yeah.
Yeah.
I just spoke to him the other day.
Absolute wonderful man.
Yeah, an ex-army.
Ex-army.
So that's what you need.
Probably killed people.
Yeah.
But the most mild-mannered, calm.
Yeah, quiet killing.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I think we brought him in as a project manager. He did such a good job on the fashion royalty stuff that we quickly sort of put him into.
Right, we better get on.
So we're looking at the Sunday Times Rich List posters.
Yes.
Do you
Start with
Fat Cats?
I want to start with Fat Cats.
Because I was just going to say on this, did you... I'm right in saying it was at CHI for a bit, wasn't it?
So, yeah, look,
And
Rich and Dan had set the bar with Rooney.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as short as I can get that. And they were brilliant. And I think CHI had done some great posters up to that point. But they were the ones.
Yeah, and then I bet they were gutted, but then you were like rubbing your hands a bit going, it must have been, what was it, a WPP move?
It was over to Gray.
Yes.
The client, we won the pitch for Sunday Times.
Yes.
And then we got straight into kind of doing work.
Because
obviously.
I imagine it must have been, it's one of those horrible, scary things. Someone's done some amazing work going, and you're going, oh my God, this is so brilliant. Oh God, I'm shitting myself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and for the teams. But once you've got one in the back of the net, did they all, I'm just looking at the work now.
Yeah.
The Fat Cats, again, it just looks effortless.
Yeah. Fat Cats was year 2.
Oh, so what was year one?
Year one was, and you're absolutely right. You get the rich list brief, and you go, right, we can't drop the ball here.
Yeah,
it's been so much good work
Because the bar has been set.
The bar's so high. I think every year they picked up a pencil or something. So we were like, oh fuck. So there was the stack of ideas on year one rich list was probably not far off the stack of work that Nigel Roberts used to have on The Economist back in the days.
Yes.
It was phenomenal.
Was it quite a humbling feeling getting that amount of stuff?
It was great. I mean, the whole department were kind of like just throwing in.
It was everyone.
Yeah.
Throwing as many ideas.
Yeah. And it sort of takes a long time to sift through. In fact, the year one, before we get to Fat Cats, it was the 25th anniversary of the Rich List.
Yeah.
And we had a big stack of stuff. And it was interesting because they never really had a 25-year or an anniversary kind of edition. So that was an extra little thing. And we did a campaign which is bar charts of individual wealth going through the last 25 years. So we had Harry Potter, and we had Alan Sugar, Bono, and who was the other one? And Macca, yeah. So, and the idea was that there was a photograph from each one of those years, which showed, the kind of...
and it charts their
wealth.
All the way through the 25
All the way through the 25 years.
Yeah.
When this idea came in, I mean, there was such high finish to a lot of the ideas that we looked through. But when this idea came in, it was basically a scribble on a bit of paper.
Right.
And I had genuinely looked at the bit of paper and didn't know what the fuck it was.
Right.
And I'm going, is that a kind of bar chart thing? And is that 20? Anyway, I took it to the team and said, I'm not sure what this is, but I wanted to give everything a good kind of good chance.
Where did it come from?
It was a team called Mike and Pauline. Brilliant team. Now at Mother doing some cracking work. They did the IKEA.
Yeah. The sustainable.
No, the IKEA one, which was the little toys wrapping.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
And they're an amazing team. And I said to them, is this idea a bar chart of 25 years with different photographs? And they were like, no. I was like, well, go and have a look at that idea and come back with it. And they came back with what is not too dissimilar from what you've got now, all mocked up, brilliantly put together and kind of.
Yeah, I got to say
So it was like a scribble.
I love that.
Out of nothing.
There's a great story. Sorry, a very quick digression. When Drogo was at Saatchi's and they had signed off an ad from a team, Paul Buggers, and right at the last minute, Drogo was still looking around for stuff, and he went into Howard and Duncan's office. Yeah. And just on the corner of their pad, they had a scribble of the cartoon of the kid being attacked. And he said, what's that? He said, oh, we were just thinking if you attacked a cartoon. And he went, that's it, yeah. So then he went into this team and said, sorry, we're going to have to go back. We're going to have to unsell your entire, they were in pre-production, I think.
Right.
And we're going to do that. And it's that sort of moment of someone going, that, you know, I'll just love that kind of, which I think you're going to tell us a story a bit later on about.
Oh my.
But this campaign, I mean, well done everyone involved, because it must have been kind of one of those, shit, what we can do. And then first time you smash it. So that must have given you a huge amount of confidence to go, right, we're done.
But even less confidence for the next year, because you go, well, that's picked up a pencil, and now what do we do?
But you know, when you get given, I've never really been in this situation, never having been an ECD, but imagine it's lovely having an enormous pile of stuff on one of the most famous brands out there, but also slightly daunting, because the further you get down and you still haven't got the one, you're thinking, oh my God, hopefully there's something at the bottom.
Yeah.
Or after that first round of that first year, did you have stuff you're going, that'd be good for next year?
You gather them all up and go through them all again. And that was the case.
Do you shuffle the pile?
Yeah, exactly. Put different names on it.
It's
a different lens.
Well, because you get on the top of that pile, you get a really good idea. It sets the bar for the rest of the stack, right?
Yeah, but your expectations are maybe there's something better.
Yeah.
It was all on the wall anyway, so you could kind of we made sure that we put everything on the wall and kind of walked around it. Yeah, and I think the previous campaign was round 3 of going through. It was like 8 o'clock at night. We're all knackered, and I think it was round 3 of going through the various
It's
piles.
funny the graph thing, because it's not as immediate as you think.
No,
but when you look at it, it's really enjoyable to look at, because there is a bit more than just.
Yeah, it's not like the Lynx stuff, which is like, I get it, gone.
Yeah,
move on, 40 seconds worth.
Yeah, because I was just looking at the Harry Potter one. I love the fact that it only starts really late.
Yeah.
And then he's gone really on.
Yeah, and then you look at with any poster, you look at them as a set as well and go, do that set look good together? And
also there was a thing, just lovely art direction, black and white to colour, right? Because of that's what was.
Yeah.
Was that a design piece?
Very kind.
Yeah, it's lovely. So let's move on
talking about old stuff. Yeah.
To your next, the next Rich List campaign of note, which was the Fat Cats.
Fat Cats, yeah.
So I've been longing to ask you, and because I don't know, obviously, this client at all. When you show the work, do they have to go, yeah, but that's going to upset Richard Branson? Do they have to say to the person, hey, we're doing an ad, or is it nothing to do with them? They Sunday Times own this kind of. I think they want to outwardly piss people off, but they want to have some fun, right?
Yeah, I think they have some fun. I think Richard Branson got in touch and texted or
probably
tweeted or something and said it was fun. I think because they're a newspaper, they have right to kind of just talk about celebrities in whatever way they want.
There's a commentary, and they've probably got their own picture desk that they can access.
Yeah.
Was it another? I mean, this is so simple. Did somebody literally draw a fat cat and give it to you, or you could even say it in the corridor? Can you?
They drew fat cats to start with.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, what if you made those fat cats look a little bit like celebrities? How could you do that? And
that's why you get the big bucks, mate.
No, I think it was, I can't even remember who suggested it, or like I say, it's still 10 years ago. I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago.
Because again, you look at it now and you go, oh yeah, of course. But you probably do start with there's a fat cat gag in there.
But also, this could have gone horribly wrong if we hadn't got Tim Flack involved.
I was going to ask you, so who, he was the
Tim Flack's, I think, the best animal photographer in the whole world.
Did he do the dog, the one that shakes itself and all the...
I think he did loads of stuff. He did the bat standing up. He did all the photography of the horses.
Yes, okay, yeah.
And an absolutely wonderful man. Just calm, down to earth, and just craftsman.
And was this model making, retouching, a bit of both?
It was, we photographed some cats and then lots of retouching. Yeah.
My cat is bigger than that. It's so fat.
Giant cat. The other story about this one is you get them back and you're never quite sure. I think Branson came in first and then Elton came in.
Yeah.
This is such a random conversation. What do you do at work all day, Daddy? And then Cowell came in and we were like, well, it wasn't really working. You couldn't really tell it was him. It just looked like a cat with a wig on. And I think it was the account guy, Albert, suggested, well, why don't you put some shades on him? We're like, that's a good idea. So we sent that back. I love that when, you're a good tight team and people suggest stuff and you go, that is brilliant. People feel like the ideas can come from, they can chip in and feel
The collar as well as
The collar.
Yeah, that was a bit more.
That's the coup de grace. Yeah. So Elton's
hammered it home.
Elton's got a piano, Richard's got a plane, and Simon's got an act. It's just that you don't need any more than that. It's just the right side of,
Yeah.
we did a shoot for a pet food, helped on a pet food shoot. And it was really interesting to see the kind of these professional cats on set. They're so well trained. I remember the very first time they opened the crate, and this kind of actually looked a bit like Simon Cowell. This cat kind of did this sexy walk out. It's like a real catwalk.
Just literally switched it on.
Yeah, exactly. And turned around the whole set and sat on a 2p piece.
Oh my God.
We were like, what?
How is that?
She said, yeah, that's how we train them. We put a coin down and they know where to sit. That's their mark. They go to the mark, do the walk, and then they
When it stood up, did it have the 2p piece just neatly positioned in
the butt?
Yes.
And then they give them some tuna for doing it. But it was amazing to watch because we were all chatting away, and then all of a sudden, this thing saunters out. Incredible.
Are you given the celebrities, or do you choose them?
We choose them. So we wrote, again, I think we wrote quite a lot. And you go through that thing, that doesn't work at all, or that's not going to work, or is that person well known enough? Because I guess if you are making a cat look like a famous celebrity, they've got to have some characteristics which would kind of define them. So Richard's obviously got his hair and his goatee. Cal's got his centre parting and his shades, as we found out, and Elton's obviously got his round glasses.
They're worthy of sticking on the wall. They are so good. We're going to have to move on, obviously. I'm going to say goodbye to the cats.
Waffling on.
We're going to just go a little bit of a sideways move, still on the Sunday Times, and this is the best dressed list, which another beautiful piece of work. I remember seeing these and thinking, I just love the art direction. They're just cool.
Yeah.
And it's a good subject, obviously, to work on. How this list isn't as famous as the Rich list, is it?
It didn't exist until we presented it to the Sunday Times.
So you said, why don't you do it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
I think the planner came up with it and said, why don't we do a best dressed list?
That's nice.
And they did it in the magazine, and then we got into kind of how we're going to advertise it. Originally, the funny story about this one is, originally we were like, you remember hyper real painting?
Yeah.
So that's how we were going to do these. We're convinced, right? These have got to look real, lifelike. They've got to look amazing and whatever. We found this illustrator style. I don't think he was available, so we ended up going with someone else. And the drawings came back. The first pens came back, and we were like, "Who is that?" it was honestly, it was dreadful. We're like, "Oh my, we can't run this. It's dreadful." So I think it was Sean who was like, "Okay, let's recalibrate. Let's kill off that idea." And we sold it in really hard as well.
God.
It's got to be this, and it's got to be meticulous craft of painting. So, okay, recalibrate quickly. So we went to I think it was RM2, the retouchers, and said, can you have a go at this? And I think Sean had a great relationship with them. And they came back with Tiny as a little, kind of, I guess, scamp, but obviously really good. And he came back with like, that's it. Brilliant. Add some more things. And lots of it is actually made by CGI. Obviously, they're based on classic photographs.
So these weren't shot?
Well, the Kate Moss picture there is a classic picture of the Queen. The one with her eyes closed. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of the artist.
No, I know. Yeah.
Amazing picture. So we
like she's glowing a bit.
Yeah. And obviously Queen Victoria kind of work. But that is a retouched version of that vintage picture because it was so grainy, the photograph, when we got the picture of
See, there was me thinking I was going to do a load of sort of chat about what's it like chat to Kate Moss over sort of hobnob and
no, it's all retouched. All retouched.
But, dreams.
They did
they're amazing,
cracking job of retouching those. I can't say how chuffed we were when they came in.
Yeah, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. Wow. Okay. Well, that's.
We were talking last week about the kind of the days of being able to spend days and days in retouching. Right?
Yeah. So you did a brilliant job. The other thing we did as well, we did a stamp for with Michelle Obama's face.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama's face on it, and that nearly didn't run. And then we got into legal things about kind of can't face the same way as the Queen.
Yeah.
So we had to just spin her at the last minute, like literally an hour before we were about to kind of send this idea out. Or
because
print
that
it.
got loads of publicity, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. In the States, in Australia, it's kind of like.
But so on these, again, so because they're kind of public domain and they're on your list, you kind of don't have to.
No, not for the Times and something like that.
They're great because the way their art directed, particularly Kate Moss and Victoria, they look like they've sat for you because they're looking down the barrel, aren't they? Yeah. Brilliant. Wonderful
Here's
stuff.
the retouches of the world.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So from Grey, it was a hop, skip and a jump to Publicis. How long ago was it you went to Publicis?
Joined in 2016, January.
Okay.
So, nearly 5 years. 4.5 years, yeah.
And was that another big cultural shift business-wise?
It was. I mean, my predecessor there was Andy Bird.
Birdie, that's right. Yeah.
Who'd done a great job and was kind of there was clearly some talent over at Publicis because they were doing some great work for DePaul.
Yeah, DePaul stuff, amazing.
Bits and pieces.
Renault's nice bits and bobs.
So there's clearly some talent over there, and there was some good new toys to play with. I've been 5 years at Grey. It was like, it's time for something else and something different. And there was Renault over there, and various other kind of great big brands to play with, Heineken.
And did you have Tourism Ireland at the time?
Tourism Ireland was already an existing client, yeah. So they'd done some work for the last 3 or 4 years. They'd done a couple of years' work of Game of Thrones. It was a deal that,
I'm looking like lost here.
Game of Thrones.
Just the mention of Game of Thrones, that's it. You're gone.
Game of Thrones.
Okay, right now,
Yes.
give us the link between, not that either of us will know that much, but
Yeah, go on.
the link between Tourism Ireland and Game of Thrones.
So Game of Thrones, a lot of it is shot in Northern Ireland. So they'd established a campaign a couple of years before, which was Northern Ireland is Game of Thrones territory. They've done a bit of work here and there and done some experiential stuff and some, kind of hot off the press social media posts. You'd watch it in the States, and then the creative team would write some ads about that episode, and then it showed in the UK.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of nice and current and fast moving. So that's the link, between Game of Thrones. I think the deal between Game of Thrones, HBO, and Tourism Ireland was brokered by Tourism Ireland client, a guy called Brian Twomey.
So I know Brian really well. He was my client.
Yeah. He's a spitting image of my dad. Yeah, I don't think he knows that.
Has he still got a tash?
He has, yeah.
Oh, that was one of the best tashes.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Oh, he's a great man.
I remember we were, I don't know, should I? We were in Cannes and we didn't tell him we were going to win.
Right.
Because they tell you.
No.
If you win a gold, they tell you you go into the kind of, the auditorium. But we didn't tell Brian. You just thought, this is nice.
Come down for a little glass of rosé.
Nearly an Irish accent then, didn't you?
He was trying so hard not to.
It's not bad, actually.
Yeah. So we didn't tell him. We sat between the art director and myself, and then we won. His face when they said, Doors of Thrones is one. It was like an absolute pitch. I wish I'd filmed it.
I mean, when you arrived,
yes,
it was already on a brief for Tourism Ireland. Was go, Game of Thrones, yada yada yada. So, and I know you've told me this before, but I'm going to pretend that I didn't know this. Okay. So, Dave Monk arrives, Publicis, sort of, fanfare. We got the big guy, blah blah blah. Come on,
they rolled out the red carpet.
No, but that's great. It's great, right? So you're thinking, right, that's the guy from Grey. Let's see what happens. And I heard, or you told me, they'd already sent another campaign to Tourism Ireland, and you very politely sort of went, can we pull that one back and have another go? Was that the true story?
That is a true story, yeah. There was a campaign that was on the table.
Right.
And I looked at it, because when I got there, I was like, I should probably look at all the work that's going through, or just get a sense of like what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
And I looked at the Tourism Ireland work, and it was just a bit complicated. I mean, the idea was there, and it sort of worked with the Game of Thrones territory thing, but it was just a little bit complicated, a bit like falling downstairs.
Right.
That old enough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, to the account person, I said, is there any way that you can sort of unsell that and we can go again? Like naively.
But having unsold an entire best dressed campaign for Sunday Times, you could probably but
they didn't know that.
Home territory. Yeah.
Anyway, she went back because also we had to run any campaign. We have to get sign off by Tourism Ireland, then sign off by HBO, and then signed off by the writers of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is like, I mean, that was complex in itself. So she went back and came back a week later or a few days later and went, right, that's unsold. You best go again.
Yeah, what have you got?
She's like, shit, we better get in a room. So we got in a room, and I think we identified that, if the show is made of Ireland, then so should the advertising be.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Were you a fan of the show before?
I never watched it.
Never watched it.
No, but I knew people, like the art director, Josh, is an absolute massive fan.
Yeah.
So all this work the last 3 years is all been down to Josh.
Thank God for Josh.
Honestly, thank God for Josh.
Yeah.
He's a Game of Thrones genius.
Brilliant.
So we got in a room, a few of us. There was the creative team and creative director on the account, and I think the strategist. We sat around going like, what could you do? What could you make out of Ireland? And, I think the creative director suggested that we go, he'd spotted that there'd been a hurricane that had destroyed one of the filming locations. And we're like, well, so there's a load of wood lying about. See if you can get hold of that wood.
Right.
That was like the first thing. If we can get hold of that wood, what could we do with it? And we thought about all sorts of silly things that we could do with it. But then we landed on pub doors. They're pretty Irish.
Because what's interesting about that is it's sort of a thing in Ireland where Game of Thrones is filmed, but the wood isn't itself anything to do with Game of Thrones. But then it's just so many, so much work to do. But when you get to it, you're going, God, that's cool. I always like an idea that's going to give production a headache. Because it hasn't been done before. Yeah, mate, that's brilliant.
So we did have, for all three of the Game of Thrones campaigns we did for Tourism Ireland, we had a producer called Cal Palmer, who is, I can't tell you how good he is.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's just a fixer. He's more than a producer. He just fixes.
What did he say when you said, we need you to go and get these trees that have fallen down?
A week later he came back and right, we've got the wood. It's in a warehouse somewhere in someone's garage and it's been held. So, what do you want to do with it?
Well, at what point in this did you tell the client, go, right, you know that wood, we're going to carve it into doors and blah, 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 blah.
We put the concept, again, it's a few years ago now, so I'm trying to remember. But I think we put the concept together and it was much more buttoned down than just go, let's make some pub doors out of some logs that have been, fallen over. It was about creating not just an ad campaign, it was about creating an itinerary. So we linked, each of the pubs are very close to a filming location, and you can actually do a tour to visit all 10 pubs around the country, which takes you to the filming locations. And therefore,
I suppose the more you do it, the more you're going, God, this is just like, it's just work. You know that thing when you get an idea and you're going, oh, you can do this. And, you're yes-anding it all the way.
So many stages to it as well. You kind of go, okay. So we launched, because there were 10 episodes, we released one door every week.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't give us obviously for obvious reasons, the plot line. So we had to generally give an idea of what the theme of it might be. And we couldn't directly relate to some of the houses or what they called this.
I'm just looking at some of the doors. Just to give us an example of one of them, what was carved in to a door?
There were dragons.
Dan, any of your favourite dragons from your favourite show?
Are you a fan, Dan?
Yeah, we
got a tattoo.
Me and my wife.
Got a massive tattoo on his torso.
All the dragons. Mother of dragons.
Dan's dragon.
No, it's one of those shows that you kind of, once you're in, you get obsessed by it. I think it's
I watched series 1 and that was good. I think the bit that hooked me was when the guy gets gold poured on his head.
Yeah.
As a matter of, if nobody's watched it, then it won't mean anything. But
I think one of the,
I'm looking out the window, blank.
in every series, they kind of build up to a point where the entire watching community goes, "Oh my fucking God! Can you believe they just did that?" I won't ruin it for you. You should go back and watch it.
Maybe watch it together, Hugh.
Oh, yeah, I'd like book a room, some sort of spacing. Yeah. Did you, as a fan though? So I'm talking to Dan now.
That's right.
Dan on the podcast. Hello, mate. Did you immediately see this and go, "Oh my God"?
Yeah.
Was it like a kind of like?
But it's one of those things when you follow stuff on social based on your viewership or football fans, for example, Hugh.
What's football? I'm most into tennis.
And over the weekend, mine was just full of Spurs goals banging in.
Early days, mate. Early days.
But you tend to pick up on this stuff because you go, oh wow. So, and everyone was sharing it, so you start to see it all. And I think it it was so close to Game of Thrones that people started to talk about it even more.
You know, the door. So you got a bunch of wood. You got this epic producer. Got them kind of half sold to the client.
Yeah.
Then you go, right, who's going to make these? Who made them? How did you get them?
So we teamed up with, actually, we had a really good relationship with Believe when I was at BBH. One of the producers from BBH went and became the exec producer at Believe. And so we phoned them up and got in touch with them and said, is there any way that you can help pull this together? Another sort of fixer.
Fabricator?
No, Believe Media is a production company.
Right, okay.
So we wanted to film this as well. But look, it was Cal who kind of worked. We wanted them to be carved and feel like solid and, kind of feel like they had a story to them. So, the Believe Media guys and Cal just worked out how they're going to be carved. And then there was an illustration company that kind of worked out what it was going to be. Right. What the patterns were going to be, what the stories were going to be, what they were going to look like.
Did you have a sort of Matt Waller perfect layout for them to follow?
Yeah. Yeah, so it was, and then illustrations and then
who carved them?
It was like I guess it was like a very clever machine.
Oh, really?
So they're not hand done. They're hand finished, but they're kind of, you put your illustration into a machine.
Wow.
And then the machine just goes.
Another brilliant sound effect. Dave, all right, we should book you.
Where are they now?
To do some Foldies. Where are the doors? One of them's in our foyer at Publicis in Baker Street. And the doors are still hanging in the pubs.
Amazing.
Would they be... I sort of want to go to one now, even though I haven't seen it. I just love this.
They're
idea.
great when you go and see them.
But it's not the door to the snooker room or to the men's toilets. It's just there.
No, it's the door to the snooker room and the men's toilets. Okay. It absolutely is. We wanted obviously the front doors, but we couldn't. It would be impossible to maintain, and they may have got stolen.
And throughout this whole because it's just I love the way it's just happened, and you do something. Your client, Brian and his marketing team, they must have just gone, guys. Have what you want. Were they just totally on board with it?
Honestly, they did just let us go on with it. Obviously, they kind of like, we're going to do it here. And they were really helpful in terms of like where the locations were going to be and working out the kind of itinerary and all that stuff. But yeah, they just sort of,
you can really,
mainly they're brilliant. And the account team had a great relationship with the client. The creatives had a direct relationship with the client. And it just happened.
Well, you can really feel it. It's like one of those campaigns. It feels like it comes from somewhere pretty deep, and there's every single person.
Yeah,
it's
I love the craft of it.
Yeah,
especially wood. My uncle used to run a pine furniture shop.
There we go.
So it was kind of the idea of getting into some wood and carving stuff. And
I still,
it's the smell, isn't it? It's the smell.
I still want to believe that. There were 10 Irish carpenters, and they go, I did the one with the dragon now. Yeah. And, but
there
it is.
That wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But you've just killed that dream with the machine. But, there's, it
was the only way that we could, because each episode was happening every week. It was the only way we could get the storyline, finish the design, and get them carved before they went out to be hung.
So you do this.
Yes.
It's an amazing campaign anyway, regardless of awards. But then it did very well down at Cannes.
It did all right. Yeah, we sent the door to Cannes.
Oh,
we said it was. I can't remember who had the idea.
Did you have lunch at the Cannes door? No, sorry. That
lunch at the pub door. Oh dear, sorry. We sent the door to Cannes. So the jury, and I think they marched the jury down to go and have a look at it.
Good.
So that
nice
worked well.
Yeah. So then you probably go, right, what are we going to do next year?
Yeah, we did. And we go through all sorts of alternative ideas. And then we come back to the tapestry, which we'd written the same year as Doors.
So you had tapestry in the first year.
Yeah.
Why? Because on paper or on tapestry, it seems a little bit of an easier.
That's exactly why. If you go give production a headache, don't make it easier for them.
But I suppose the first one was sort of slightly serendipitous, the trees, the thing, you're going, oh my God, let's do that. Whereas this is, it's an amazing and incredibly unconventional way, but you didn't have to rely on.
No, but also, I think Doors was how many seasons of Game of Thrones?
10?
No, there's not 10 seasons. It's 7 or something. Right, anyway.
You said you didn't know. Mind you, you're the boss, so you should know the facts.
I can't remember this stuff. But
it was 10 years, but they missed a couple of years, didn't they?
Right,
Yeah.
So the tapestry is one section for every episode of the entire show.
Okay.
So if you do it 2 seasons before it ends, it's never going to be as good. So we waited till the next year and went, okay, season 7, and then we'll finish off once season 8 is done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if we'd have done Tapestry in the Doors year, we'd still have had 2 seasons to go. And then probably 3 years before we could finish it off.
So, did you initially think Tapestry was going to be like a really good one? And then someone's gone, oh, no, practically speaking, it's not going to be.
It was concept at the time. And, the board was there and the kind of idea was there, but we just didn't fall in love with it. Also, the idea of recycling an old tourist attraction, the King's Road, was way more appealing.
Yeah.
We're going to make something out of something that's broken. What a great thing.
But also with the tapestry, though, the kind of the medieval storytelling technique is perfectly suited to the brand.
Well, we just thought if, the Bayeux Tapestry is a kind of historical record of the greatest battle, that Britain had ever seen, that if Game of Thrones is the greatest battle show that the world's ever seen, then surely we should make a record of that by making a tapestry.
So, again...
So what was the machine called?
Yeah, I was going to say.
So it was a mixture of...
Tell me there were some real people doing something.
I will tell you a little story about some real people. So we did have, again, because we had to kind of print it off, and it was like 230 feet long, this thing.
Wow.
Why that long?
Because 1 meter per episode.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's very long.
But it's very long, yeah. But also... I think we wanted it to just be a bit longer than the Bayeux Tapestry. Just a little bit longer. We did have a machine that did the majority of the work. Obviously, it was illustrated and designed meticulously by the illustrator, by Jelly, who did a phenomenal job working with Josh, and there's all sorts of Easter eggs in there. I think I'm in there with an axe in my back or something. And it was meticulously designed, and then it was printed on Irish linen. So the majority of it was printed, and then there was a lot of little gold leaf parts that were sewn in, gold thread parts that were sewn in by like a little army of Irish nanas.
Oh
yeah, honestly,
thank
you. There you go.
Oh, God.
But here's another little story as well: is that they were weaving and sewing in these little bits, and it wasn't quite finished. So the nana said, "It's okay, we'll stay." Through the weekend.
Work the weekend.
And work the weekend.
You made the nanas work the weekend.
No, it was their suggestion. I would never make a nana work a weekend.
You heard it here first.
Did you get them all pizzas as well? Just to keep them going.
No, I just heard the story.
It's just like a brilliant bit of work. The bit hearing you talk about it and you can feel the passion and the kind of like giving production a headache is, I think, something should be on every brilliant creatives, on their sort of.
I just don't like our head of production. To be fair, I absolutely adore him.
But with HBO and the showrunners having a say in it, they obviously themselves have a love of outdoor because they've done things in other countries where they've been launching the series. It's been phenomenal and big outdoor stunt stuff. There's a friend of mine, Pete, did some stuff for Grave of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
last one. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That was another idea that had been thrown into the mix actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, but we didn't think it was right for. It was based in Ireland, so we were like, it's not.
It's not
totally quite right.
So that's a very good point because if you didn't buy any outdoor per se.
No, we had a relationship with the Ulster Museum, and the trick was finding somewhere to house it to start with. Like, how are we going to showcase?
I was going to say,
where are you going to put it?
Buy every 48 sheet in ours. Just run it.
We talked about this in our very first episode with John Petrudis about the kind of the game idea where they put the plaques up on the wall. You're not buying outdoor. You're executing out of home. So it's perfect.
It's so clever.
So it was actually technically indoor to start with, and it was this kind of like
shit. You better not be on the program.
But it is outdoor now. But the idea of So if the doors was something that was fixed in the country and you could travel around it, how about creating something that could travel the world and kind of bring tourism to Ireland? So essentially a flag, very long flag. When we launched it in the Ulster Museum, apparently it was the most popular exhibition that Ulster Museum had ever seen in its whole history.
Wow.
Which is hilarious, isn't it?
Is it still?
No, you know where it is now?
Tell us where it is.
It's hanging up beside the Bayeux Tapestry.
Seriously?
Yeah.
My God, do you think
just a bit longer?
Just a little bit longer, yeah. Well, it's the Bayeux Tapestry, I'm told, it's been housed in a new place. Like they built a new kind of place to house it. And where the Bayeux Tapestry used to sit, that's where Game of Thrones Tapestry now.
Do you know, like at dinner parties, when you sit next to someone and say, do you know, I did the thing a bit bigger than the Bear Tapestry. I thought you were going to say I don't go to dinner parties.
Oh, dinner parties, they're as big as the past,
yeah. I mean, Zoom.
On Zoom.
Chats, yeah.
McDonald's over Zoom.
No.
It's brilliant, though. I mean, Graham Finkel's and Never Before moments, they're audacious. They're just things that just get you excited and surely, you know, we can always do regular conventional billboards and posters, which sometimes we feature on here, and they're absolutely brilliant. But this is like a wonderful thing to talk about. And I'm sensing, I can't remember if you did a third and we haven't talked about it, or is it
we did do a third.
Was it a series of sculptures?
No, it was a series. Originally, the idea was a series of sculptures.
I think I saw some on Instagram of go on, sorry.
Well, it was called Glass of Thrones.
Glass of Thrones.
So we just created some stained glass windows. We wanted something that was instantly Instagrammable. Yes. That people could walk past, have a photograph. You know, you could sit on a stained glass window version of that big throne that they.
Yes.
The throne.
Yeah, that's it.
The actual throne. Yeah.
But also, we sort of crowdsourced the most popular moments from the entire all eight series, I think it is, isn't it? And we created these. The stained glass window. I guess stained glass windows are kind of posters of history, aren't they?
Yeah. It's the same as tapestry. It's the same, storytelling technique. It's
that's a lovely way of putting it.
So we kind of created these, I think it was 6 in the end, because there was 6 episodes perhaps. And it takes a tour through the old glassmaking district of Belfast and ends up at the Titanic Museum, which is where there was a big exhibition.
We've got to
Game of Thrones stuff.
Put that on the...
we'll put it on the feed for sure.
The last thing we want to say, because I know you've got to Bob next door or down here. I don't know if we've covered this really, but we always ask people if there's a billboard that you haven't got through or seen and it's never run and you still want to get away. But it sounds like you've sort of done that a few times.
I would have prepped for that. My memory's too rubbish to remember anything.
Don't worry about. Well, okay, move on. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite billboard of all time? It can be one of your own or something you worked on, or do you have just one you always show to people and go, "It's like that." You know.
I think Missing Piece, obviously for The Economist, is good as a classic poster. Nothing on it, not even a logo on it. Just genius. And then the other,
sorry, say it again.
Missing Piece.
Oh yeah, Jigsaw. Yeah, Jigsaw. This really got that
amazing. And then the top of the bus for The Economist, which was, here's all our
hello to our hard readers in office,
places, which I think are great. They're great classic ads, which I think you just go there. Of course, they're great, but I think nowadays, like less posters and more outdoor that is unbelievably striking and just bends the media in a completely different way. So the two that I always go back to are The Magic of Flying for BA. Mm-hmm. It's just a brilliant use of a poster. That location, kid pointing, Ogilvy, absolutely phenomenal. And then I think you've probably talked about this one, but the most striking and emotional reaction I've ever had to anything outdoor was Project 84.
Yeah.
Just remarkable.
Yeah. We spoke to Anna and Mike. Actually, he's live. I'm going to get that wrong. Sorry, it's not live today because we're in the future. But those are two of our absolute favourites.
Just winners. Yeah. And they're so different because they just, it's not just a poster.
It did go live on the 8th of October,
good
episode. So.
And we want to wrap up just with a final piece looking forward for creatives or any young teams out there who just, do you have any tips or little rules you live by or things that, which if you stick to make for great work?
I think give production a headache. It's probably my favourite one that always sticks with people, clients and teams.
I'm sure Cal will be very thankful for that.
Yeah, exactly. And Colin Hickson, our head of film.
Okay.
He's always like, oh God, not another one.
Dave, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
That. We've that's been really, really enjoyable. I wish we could have spent a bit more time, but I think you've got other stuff to sort. So thanks again. And
posters to make.
Yes,
got posters to make. Yeah, there's billboards that they're making. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.
That's good, wasn't it?
Really good.
Only one mention of football throughout the actual interview as well.
So I really like Dave, yeah. There were so many good stories. In fact, when we turned the microphones off, he then told us a really funny story about Game of Thrones sausages.
Bacon.
Yeah. So they were going to, what was it? They said they're trying to make things from Ireland.
Well, there was a pig farm that the production company helped kind of help along the way so that it would look good in the background of the shots.
Yes, yeah, so they backed the farmer, didn't they?
Backed the farmer, put loads of vintage pig
feed stuff.
No, heritage breeds.
Yeah, and then they sort of they multiplied. It's turning some sort of weird sex cast. and
the pigs had sex.
And then Dave was saying, well, that's what we'll do. We'll get the pigs, we'll kill them, we'll make bacon, and we'll have it in the shops, and it'll be called Game of Thrones bacon.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe there was a bit of like tumbleweed, but I think that idea was saved by the fact that you can't make money from products for a tourism campaign. So I think the pigs sort of bit the dust, but it was another bloody funny story. I mean, he's got so many great little tales.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and now he's next door, hopefully winning a pitch in our official pitch-winning room, which Dave Dye was in the other week.
Yeah, he won that pitch. So anyone coming onto the show next, make sure your pitch is right after our podcast.
Yeah, and then you have to give the digital out of homework to Dan, and I have to write it with one of your in-house copywriters.
It's just part of the deal.
Yeah,
it's just part of the deal.
Anyway, some social stuff.
We're on Instagram.
Twitter.
We're on the Twitter.
Yeah. So follow us, please.
Now. It's boring. We don't even have to say it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll see you. What?
Next
Thursday. Yeah. Okay. See you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.